You're listening to the Everything Jewish 10 Minutes at a Time podcast, where you'll learn about every Jewish topic imaginable in about 10 minutes. Before we begin, let me give you my usual warning. My Hebrew pronunciation isn't always the best. I'm basically like the autocorrect of Hebrew words. Sometimes I nail it, sometimes I end up calling Halav Yisrael something that sounds like jalapeno Israel. So bear with me, because today's topic is both delicious and surprisingly complicated. Kosher cheese and kosher marshmallows. Yes, you heard that right. The two foods you probably never thought had anything in common actually share one huge thing. To make them kosher requires a lot more than just a rabbi waving a magic wand and saying, "You're good to go." Nope. There's science, rabbinic debates, centuries of dairy drama, and even some gelatin-based detective work. So, grab a grilled cheese, maybe toast up a s'more, and let's break this down Jewish style, with a little humor, a little history, and a lot of food talk. Let's start with kosher cheese, because honestly, cheese is one of those foods where you'd assume it's just milk, it must be kosher. But not so fast. Jewish law says that while milk from a kosher animal is kosher, the process of turning milk into cheese usually involves an enzyme called rennet. And here's the kicker. Traditional rennet comes from the lining of a cow's stomach. Now, even if the cow itself is kosher, if the rennet isn't prepared in a kosher way, or if it comes from a non-kosher animal, the whole block of cheddar is basically Jewishly off limits. This is not a small technicality. Back in Talmudic times, rabbis were already debating whether cheese made by non-Jews was automatically non-kosher because of the rennet issue. That's where the whole category of gevinat akum, or Gentile cheese, comes in. Some Jewish communities banned it outright, while others developed workarounds. So next time you're at the supermarket, realize that kosher certification on cheese is not just marketing. It's an ancient legal drama playing out in your dairy aisle. Fast forward to today, and kosher cheese certification is its own thriving industry. You'll see symbols like OU, star K, or OK on packages of mozzarella or cream cheese. And that's because rabbis have to carefully supervise not just the source of the milk, but also the rennet substitute. Nowadays, microbial rennet and vegetable-based enzymes are common, making kosher cheese production much easier. But here's the twist. Some rabbis say that even if the rennet is microbial, you still need Jewish supervision during the cheese-making process. That's because historically, the prohibition against Gentile cheese wasn't just about rennet. It was also about Jewish identity, boundaries, and community. Think of it like the kosher version of a "you can't sit with us" rule from Mean Girls. Different kosher organizations and Jewish communities today draw the line differently. Some Orthodox groups insist only on fully supervised cheese, while more lenient rulings accept microbial rennet without strict rabbinic presence. The result? Your pizza topping or cheesecake filling might carry layers of halachic philosophy along with layers of dairy goodness. Now let's talk about marshmallows, the fluffy, squishy snack that seems innocent until you realize it's basically a sugar pillow held together by gelatin. And what is gelatin made from? Traditionally, boiled animal bones, hides, and connective tissue. Not exactly the magical, cloud-like image you want when making s'mores at summer camp. For marshmallows to be kosher, the gelatin issue is front and center. Standard gelatin usually comes from pigs or non-kosher cows, which is a big no-go. Some kosher marshmallows use fish-based gelatin, others use specially processed beef gelatin from animals slaughtered according to Jewish law, and others skip gelatin entirely and use plant-based stabilizers. This makes kosher marshmallows a kind of culinary choose-your-own-adventure. And just like cheese, different rabbis and kosher agencies have different opinions. Some accept certain processing methods that neutralize the non-kosher source of gelatin, while others say, nope, if it starts non-kosher, it ends non-kosher. So next time you roast a kosher marshmallow, you're also roasting centuries of halachic debate, whether you realize it or not. Marshmallows also tell a bigger story about Jewish adaptation in modern food culture. Back in the day, kosher kids at summer camp just had to watch their friends eat marshmallows and say, cool, I'll just stick to my graham cracker. Then kosher companies like Minischewitz and Pasques stepped in and said, not anymore. Jews deserve s'mores too. Today, kosher marshmallows come in all shapes and sizes. Jumbo ones for s'mores, mini ones for hot cocoa, even strawberry-flavored ones that make you wonder if someone snuck candy into your coolant. And with the rise of vegan and allergy-friendly foods, kosher marshmallows have gone mainstream. Brands like Dandy's make vegan marshmallows that happen to be kosher, which means sometimes the kid with food allergies and the observant Jewish kid are actually eating the same snack.
Ever notice how ads always pop up at the worst moments? When the killer's identity is about to be revealed. During that perfect meditation flow. On Amazon Music, we believe in keeping you in the moment. That's why we've got millions of ad-free podcast episodes, so you can stay completely immersed in every story, every reveal, every breath. Download the Amazon Music app and start listening to your favorite podcasts ad-free, included with Prime.
It's like interfaith dialogue, but with sugar. So when you see a kosher marshmallow, you're not just looking at a snack. You're looking at Jewish ingenuity, making sure no one gets left out at a campfire. Here's where cheese and marshmallows intersect in a surprisingly Jewish way. Both highlight the rabbinic concept of minhag, or custom. Some Jewish communities are strict on cheese, others more lenient. Some accept gelatin from certain sources, others reject it outright. And once customs form, they're powerful. For example, Sephardic authorities historically held stricter views on cheese, while many Ashkenazi authorities developed different leniencies. With marshmallows, American Orthodox groups often disagree with Israeli rabbinic authorities about whether certain gelatin processes are kosher. So your kosher hot cocoa might be fine in Brooklyn, but questionable in Jerusalem. These differences reflect how Jewish law isn't just black and white, it's also community-based, historical, and evolving. Think of it like different versions of your favorite video game console. Some communities are Team PlayStation, others are Team Xbox, but everyone's still gaming. The key is, once you know the rules in your community, you stick with them. And yes, sometimes that means no marshmallow in your Rice Krispies treat. Sad, but halachically consistent. Another cool layer is how kosher cheese and marshmallows show up in pop culture. Take kosher pizza. Every Jewish neighborhood in America seems to have at least one kosher pizza joint, and those mozzarella debates we talked about, they're baked into every slice. For marshmallows, summer camps and youth groups use them as a Jewish bonding moment. If you've ever been on a Jewish teen trip and had a bonfire with kosher marshmallows, you know it's as much about identity as it is about sugar. Even TV has gotten in on the act. Remember Seinfeld's marshmallow fluff moments or endless pizza jokes in sitcoms? Those foods are shorthand for comfort, belonging, and joy. Kosher versions allow Jews to participate without compromising religious rules. It's like Hollywood telling Jews, we see your dietary laws, and we raise you a kosher marshmallow. Pop culture might not always understand halacha, but it definitely understands the need to belong. And kosher cheese and marshmallows give Jews that connection in food-heavy social settings. On the halachic side, let's zoom into some rabbinic debates. Rambam, Maimonides, was famously strict on cheese, ruling that any cheese made by non-Jews is prohibited, even without animal rennet. The Shulchan Aruch follows this view, while Ashkenazi authorities like the Rema allow certain leniencies if rennet isn't involved. With marshmallows, modern rabbis debate whether gelatin undergoes enough chemical transformation to lose its non-kosher identity. Some, like Rav Moshe Feinstein, allowed certain gelatins under specific conditions, while others strongly disagreed. These debates aren't just nitpicky, they reflect core questions of Jewish law. Does process matter more than source? Can something once forbidden become permissible through change? Cheese and marshmallows are like edible case studies in halachic philosophy. And because rabbis disagree, kosher consumers have to know whose ruling their community follows. That OU symbol on your marshmallow bag? It's more than a logo. It's a shorthand for a whole halachic worldview. From a cultural standpoint, kosher cheese and marshmallows also show how Judaism adapts without losing its roots. Jews could have just said, okay, we'll never eat marshmallows or Parmesan cheese, end of story. Instead, rabbis, scientists, and food companies work together to create kosher versions. It's innovation grounded in tradition, kind of like inventing kosher sushi or vegan brisket. The point isn't to bend the rules, but to apply them creatively so Jews can fully participate in modern food culture. And sometimes that creativity makes Jewish products pioneers. Vegan marshmallows wouldn't be as big without kosher demand. Microbial rennet cheese probably wouldn't have spread so quickly without kosher concerns. So in a funny way, kosher consumers have shaped what everyone else eats, even if they don't realize it. It's like Jews were early adopters of the plant-based movement before it was cool. Who knew that sticking to halacha could also drive food innovation for the entire world? So what's the big takeaway? Kosher cheese and kosher marshmallows may seem like small, quirky corners of Jewish law, but they actually illustrate something huge: how halacha, culture, and identity intertwine in daily life. Every slice of kosher pizza or bag of kosher marshmallows is proof that Jewish law is alive, adaptive, and relevant. It's not about making life harder. It's about sanctifying even the ordinary, like a snack or a sandwich. And it shows that Judaism cares deeply about community and boundaries, sometimes down to the enzymes and stabilizers in our food. Next time you're enjoying a s'more at a Jewish campfire or biting into a kosher grilled cheese, remember, you're tasting more than food. You're tasting history, debate, adaptation, and belonging. And honestly, that makes everything just a little bit sweeter. Thanks for listening. And remember, whether it's cheese or marshmallows, kosher is always about more than what's on the plate. It's about who we are when we gather around it.